Now, before I even get into this newest episode of Resistance called The Triple Dark, though it's not really new since it's been available online for a week now, I just want to let you know that yes, despite the fact that I'm not sure too many fans are watching this show, I will continue to review it. In fact, I plan on trying to review more of the other sources of canon in general, like the books and comics, because many of you out there have asked me to do just that, and because I do keep up on quite literally everything canon, or at least try to, and I'd love to be able to talk about it and discuss it with all of you. Not to mention, there is actually some good stuff in the other sources of canon, really good stuff in some cases, and though a lot of people seem to think I hate all things Star Wars because I'm not a fan of The Last Jedi, I've actually been happy if not impressed by what Disney has been able to do with Star Wars outside of the saga films. But before I get way off track, because I do want to make a video where I compare the sequel trilogy to everything else that's come out under the Disney banner, let's talk about this newest episode of Resistance. Okay, now before I discuss the actual episode, and sadly there's not really much to discuss, but I will get to it in a moment, I think while I was watching this episode, the biggest issue or problem with this show became abundantly clear. And I know some of you probably picked up on this way sooner than me and are about to say, duh Thor, how did you not figure this out a long time ago? But anyway, the problem is the main character Kaz, but not exactly for the reasons you might think. Because the thing is, if you took Kaz out of this show, it would feel like a normal Star Wars show. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Kaz is the only character that is way over the top and goofy. He's the only character that feels entirely like a cartoon character. Yes, the character Niku is a bit odd, but clearly that's the way his character or species is supposed to be. He reminds me a lot of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy in how they interpret everything very literally. Kaz, on the other hand, is supposed to be a pilot for the New Republic, and was a graduate of the Academy, and though that doesn't mean he can't be odd or eccentric in his own way, he instead just comes off feeling completely silly. He's also the only one on the show that does ridiculous things, or has ridiculous or impossible things happen to him, or is the cause of crazy things happening to others. Like how in this episode he got blown off the platform, landed on the windshield of one of the attacking pirate ships, went for a bit of a ride, and then fell off the ship and landed safely back on the platform without any sort of injury. In other words, his weird antics and the unbelievable things that happen to him without causing bodily harm, especially when contrasted with every other character, make him stick out like a sore thumb. It's the same problem I have with Jar Jar Binks in Episode 1. Every other character in that movie, relatively speaking, is normal and behaves normally. Jar Jar, however, is completely slapstick in most instances, and comes off feeling out of place and, well, like a cartoon. And it's always confused me why George Lucas made him that way, because he was basically one of the first all-CGI characters in a movie, and instead of trying to make him blend in, and try to make us forget that he was all CGI, they made him so silly that he always just stands out and reminds us that he's basically a cartoon in an otherwise normal, fairly serious movie. And yes, I of course get that Jar Jar was in that movie for the kids, the same way that Kaz is in this show for the kids, but I'm not sure why there's this strange assumption that kids will only gravitate towards characters that act goofy, because if Kaz just acted normal, or acted silly or funny in an even slightly more believable way, this show would be much, much better, because he wouldn't stick out so much and feel so out of place. Now, would the show be good? I don't know if I'd go that far, but it'd likely be much better and less jarring to watch. Because, to put it bluntly, the first half of this episode is basically just Kaz being an idiot and acting foolish in an effort to get laughs out of the youngest of viewers, I'd imagine. He doesn't seem to understand that if he's going to be a spy, he needs to have a good cover, especially when you consider Poe Dameron of the frickin' Resistance dropped him off a couple days ago. So after again proving he has no mechanical inclination at all, despite posing as a mechanic, he gets sent to pick up a part they need, and along the way he literally tiptoes around the station trying to spy on people in the hopes that somehow, someway, an agent of the First Order will just be out in the open discussing their plans, which, conveniently enough, is pretty much exactly what he finds. And again, this is where Kaz feels exactly like Jar Jar Binks, because he just kind of flukes into everything, and things just tend to go his way. And again, I don't know if these type of characters are supposed to be appealing or relatable to kids, but that seems to be what the creators of the show believe. And I personally don't know why they need to make him such a bumbling idiot, when they could have just had him be a bit of a screw-up or an outsider who was a disappointment to his father and was looking to prove himself by helping the Resistance. And yeah, that's pretty much exactly what he is, but they could have made him come off a little smarter, a little more capable, and a little less like an idiot. As for the episode itself, again, not a whole lot happened. The station, which is of course called the Colossus, was attacked by a squadron of pirates during what's called a triple dark, which is really just a bad storm. The ace pilots try to fight off these pirates, but it isn't until Kaz sends a loud, annoying feedback signal when he accidentally discovered earlier in the episode that these pirates are forced to flee. And the way he was able to send this signal is because, again, unknowingly, he knocked a communicator out of the hands of an associate of these pirates, and it fell somewhere where he was later able to retrieve it. Again, he's like the new Jar Jar Binks, and I look forward to Darth Kaz theories to start flooding the internet. And at the bitter end of the episode, we learn the pirates were working for the First Order, and they want Captain Doza, the operator of the station, to be forced to turn to them for protection. And this is where the show does have some potential, by dealing with and exploring how the First Order went from the remnant of the Empire to the major threat it is during the sequel trilogy. And I certainly understand these first few episodes have been more concerned about establishing the characters and the setting, and I really do hope that in time the show can get better when it touches more on what the First Order is up to. However, if they don't tone Kaz down, I'm not sure it'll matter because he's very annoying. And for me personally, he just takes me out of the Star Wars galaxy, if you will. And I really have a hard time believing that anyone but the youngest of viewers will take to him and embrace this character. And again, I really don't think you need to make him this way to capture the attention of those younger viewers. Because believe it or not, Disney and Lucasfilm, kids are a lot smarter and can grasp more than this show's main character gives them credit for. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you thought of this episode of Resistance, or what you think of the show in general. So leave a comment below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.